Hi, this is Lisa and I'm going to show you how to prune a trailing violet. This is Foxwood Trail, which I've had on Facebook on the group page before. It's needed some work, so today I'm going to show you kind of how I do my pruning. So my tools are a pair of bonsai scissors, which I got from a store in Calgary here, and also a sucker plucker, which I picked up at the show, which is kind of handy. It's very sharp and pointy, but it's great for getting ends and stuff out. So the first thing, I may as well just get going here. So I'm just going to start hacking away at it in a nice kind of way. So good. First of all, we're going to take off all the blossoms, so you don't need those for now. This plant is blooming true, and I'm hoping that it can go in our show for the spring. So we'll just pluck those guys out. And this plant is very dry right now. I like to work on my plants like this because it prevents breakage later. So I'll just work away on this here. There's all the blossoms gone. And this plant's got a problem with a little bit of culture problem. I had them a bit too wet for a while, so I've got some haloing on the leaves. So I'm just going to start removing all of the old yucky leaves. And my objective here is to figure out how many crowns I've got and their situation with the plant. This is a fairly symmetrical plant right now. So hopefully I can get it to be even better for the spring shows. So I'm just going to keep working away at this thing, and I'll take off a remarkably large number of leaves, and this plant will not be recognizable when we're done. And hopefully in the next month or so, this plant will start or redevelop all of these new baby leaves and all the new baby little crowns underneath that I'm trying to uncover here will show and will be nice and big. And I'm also removing any leaves that have damage on them, any of the older leaves, and I have some really wilted leaves. I think I may have left this plant a little too long being dry, and I can get in here with my fingers a little bit too and just pull some stuff from underneath. Give it a turn. We'll work on this guy over here. So what's going to happen is the center of this plant is going to become fairly exposed, which is good. Oops. Sorry if my head gets in the way. Did my head get in the way? Yeah.
You can cut that out.
Okay. So keep plucking away.
It'll be funnier if you leave it all.
If I leave it all. Yeah, my daughter's kind enough to film me, and she's promised not to laugh too hard. My plant is. Show them a picture of outdoors, and this explains why I do indoor gardening with violets, because for most of the year we look like that. So if you were really enthusiastic and wanted a lot of plants, you could take the best of these leaves and plant them. But if I did that with every plant that I pruned, I wouldn't have a place to live because my whole house would be full of violets. So for this one, this time I'm not going to be keeping any of these leaves. What? You put your finger in it? That was Robin's finger.
To know if your screen was cracked. And it is. So.
My screen's cracked?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
So you're still just pruning. So.
Yeah.
See right there. Straight across.
Oh, that's a scratch on the screen protector.
Yeah. If you need a new screen protector too.
Probably. Oh, look, there's another bud. Cut that off. Keep going. All these big leaves are going. Get rid of all these under ones. And when I'm cutting the leaves off, I'm actually leaving a fair amount of stalk attached to the plant, because what will happen is any new crowns will come out at the apex of the stalk and the plant leaf. So if you just cut down too far, you end up disturbing it, and you may not get a new crown growing. This can take a few minutes to do. I'm going to keep, here's my refuge pile here. It's getting quite large. Thank you, dear.
Artistic license.
Artistic, yes, indeed. So cutting
I'm
away, cutting
I'm
away.
a film guy today.
Yeah. And then hopefully I won't break anything off while I'm doing this. If I do, then oops, that I might restart. If I have a broken crown, I might restart that. Because I only have currently one of these plants. So it's not looking that great, so better keep working on it here. There's a dead flower, get rid of that. And then anything dead underneath, just lift these guys up because they're nice and pliable right now. Just pick it all away. Another evil one, get rid of that guy. If anybody has any information on the haloing, I've never actually had a problem with that until this year. Never seen it before ever on any of my plants. I have been keeping my plants a bit more humid than normal than I have in the past because we're very dry here. So if anybody has any ideas, let me know. So in a couple minutes here, I'm going to just take stock and see what I got left. There's still a bunch of pink guys that can come off. And if you take a close up in there, you can see how many leaves I have left and all this, the ends of the stems of the leaves. So you can cut them back, pinch them out a little bit, but I'm leaving a lot of them in there. Okay. Remove some more. And this one here, I'm also going to transplant it today, and I'll show you how I do that. I've got a pot ready here, and this is currently in a 4-inch regular violet pot, and I'm moving it into a 5-inch pan pot, so it's a little shallower in depth, which is perfect for these trailers. So we usually have our shows around Mother's Day here in Calgary. Not sure when it is going to be this year, but hopefully around then again. And I think the US shows a little bit later in May. So my objective hopefully is to have this plant ready and blooming for the May show or the US show, which is a bit later in May. Okay. So I think I'm going to stop picking leaves off here. I can take more later if I want to. I'm going to have a look here and see how many crowns I have. So it looks like right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main crowns, and this one here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 just on this piece. There's 7 baby crowns on this piece, and then there's a bunch on that piece, and there's 2 on that one. That's a single, and then that one looks like there's 2. So I got lots and lots of crowns here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it out of the pot, and as I'm doing this, there's a bunch of dead leaves. This, again, I must say maybe I've left this a bit too dry, so it's a sad looking plant right now, and I'll leave that guy there for now. So I'm just going to squeeze the pot and then just pop this guy out and see what happens here. Oh, there we go. So there he is out of the pot. Because we're putting him in a shallower pot, I'm going to have to trim the bottom of the root ball off. So I've taken another 4-inch and I've made a hole, and I'm going to take my little scissors here and I'm going to cut about a 1/4 inch or about a 1/2 inch off the bottom. Sorry, I'm left-handed. Got to switch angles.
Should have been over here the whole time.
Oh, I'm left-handed, so now that might be a better view. So I'm just going to cut. Okay, I'm going to cut that off, And there's my little plant. So I'm just going to take the pot, my new pot here, and hopefully I haven't disturbed the roots too much by cutting that root ball off. You can see the nice little roots underneath there. Just checking my old pot, making sure I don't have any nasty little mealybugs or anything, and looks like I'm good. And I'm just going to pop them in and then just cover it up. There. So now he's in his new pot, and I'll give him a good water when we're done working here today, and I might top up a little bit of extra soil on there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look on symmetry of the plant, so you might want to take a view from the top. So I use, to stake my plant, my violets, some of my trailers, I use these little tiny mini popsicle sticks. I got a bag of them from Michael's for, I don't know, a couple bucks, but they're really good. They're temporary. So basically what I want to do is I want to try to train the crowns into growing in certain spots in this bowl in the new pot. So it looks like there's a couple of gaps. There's a gap here and there's really full over here. So what I want to try to do is pull this crown over a little bit, and I'm going to put the stake in. Oops, I'll just get rid of that leaf, wilted one. I'm just going to put this guy over here, and I'm going to pop this popsicle stick just kind of in there, just and see if that'll hold it in place. And eventually I'll be able to take that out, and the crown will actually stay where I want it to. This is not the Japanese style that I do with my other bigger violets. This is just training a regular violet in a regular pot. So this is the technique that most people would use for violets. So let's put that guy there. And as you can see, this plant is so dry that it's letting me do this without much fuss. And I think that's, let's see if that guy's still, broke off. So that's what happens. Like, so it just gets a bit weak. This is obviously a weak one, and I don't think it's worth saving it. If it had stayed on, it probably would have been all right. This is a good example of some crowns that are growing here. I don't know if you can move out of the light so the light can see. You can see the new baby crowns growing right in the apex of the stalk and the leaf stalk. So back to this guy here. So I'm just going to maybe move this guy here since I only have the 4 main ones. And I'm just going to scratch the crowns that are still here and open up a little bit of the flesh. These ones are kind of goopy with salts from fertilizer. And once this is established, I'll also do a drench on the soil and try to rinse out the fertilizer here. But you can see I'm just scratching off some of the scaly bits here too to open up some new flesh, and then hopefully this area here, there's a nice little crown maybe coming right there, and there might be something that might come on this area that I've scratched. I'm not sure if this works or not, but I'll try it anyway. And you can also do pinpricks. If you have a sharp utensil, you can do pinpricks. I've done both. I'm not sure. I just find that once the area is opened up to the light, usually the crowns just form on their own. And I might remove a couple more little leaves here that look awfully badly wilted. And this plant should do pretty well. This is the second time I've done this. It was in a 3-inch pot previously to me putting it in the 4-inch. I did this when it was a 3-inch plant, and I'm doing it again in this big 5-inch pot. So I'm just going to move this crown over. This is where it gets a bit tedious because I lost that other crown. I'm going to try to see if this guy here can fill a bit of a spot. Let's stick that in there. And then I'm going to move this guy over a bit more. And then I'm going to move this guy over a bit more. So what I'm trying to do here is just create the symmetry so you have this plant will be, when it fills out, it'll be nice and round. So that's it for this guy, and all I'm going to do now is give it a really good water, put it under a dome, and leave it for a while, and just put it to the back of my shelf in a nice little happy spot. And hopefully within a couple weeks it'll look a lot better than this. and start filling out, and hopefully we can see some good results. And hopefully I didn't do too much work on it today. That's always a risk, is you put these plants into shock when you do a lot of work like this. That's why the extra humidity for them right away. If I just left this out right now, it would die. Like it just would go, it would have a, you know, it just wouldn't be happy and it would kick the bucket. So the domes help quite a lot. Anyway, that's it for this guy. And I'm going to do another one here shortly on how to pinch out a crown. I have another one that I wanted to show you. So anyway, signing off, Lisa.